into your own triumphant life story? If so, this podcast is for you. Listen to powerful guests who have persevered through challenges so you can gain strength to build your championship life. The host of Professor of Perseverance podcast, Dr. James Purdue.
Hey, come on in. It's time for us to get started. Time to get some motivation, some inspiration, to get that little gold nugget for the next time we go through some trials and tribulation that can use to help you get through. And the old saying is, pay it forward, pass it on, give it to someone else. Don't keep it forever. Share it. Help somebody else get the idea to move on. All right, today I'm going to talk to my main man. Actually, I was on his podcast, Dead America. And so I was on his a few years ago. So I've been wanting to get Ed on, and we finally woke up and did that for him. And let's see, push his button here. Ed, come on in, buddy.
Hey, James, how's it going?
We're doing good, man. I appreciate it. Ed Waters, he is an award-winning podcast host of Dead America. So I was blessed enough to be on there. And I appreciate you having me, Ed.
It was a great time with you, James. You know, pushing out positivity is always the thing that we should aspire to. And that's what we did. And that's what we're here today to really push out.
That's it. You know, we're going to go through something. I don't care where in your life. And then when you're feeling like you've really triumphed, life comes back around and kicks you in the teeth again. And then you got to figure it all out again. But at least you have something to get started with because you've already beat it before.
That's right. You know, staying positive through negative is really hard to do. And those that persevere beyond that, it's really incredible, because when we're deep into it, we feel like we're not coming out.
You got that
I remember,
right,
yeah, I remember I was broken so bad. I broke my back. I already had a broken leg. I was trying to get through life with a bum leg, and you know, some days I would be crawling to get through the day. And then on the job, I had a little simple slip and fall, and it took everything from me except my wife. My beautiful wife stuck by me. And, you know, through that hard time, I remember the turmoils going through my mind. I wanted to just give up, and I didn't want to be a burden to her or anybody else. I
I know the
asked the
feeling there.
doctor,
Yes.
yeah, could you
That
please just
burden.
end
Yeah.
this for me? You know, it's assisted suicide. They
Mm-hmm.
just passed that law in Oregon, and I was, well, I'm primed for that. Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
And something just nudged me along, and I kept on going. And I tried to seek, you know, some sort of, I don't know, resolve to what I went through. And I never really have, except I did find that I'm not alone. And what we have to go through sometimes crushes us into this rubble. And then the Superman upstairs takes us and forms us into concrete.
Mm-hmm.
And now I can say, by becoming a podcaster, I've met individuals that have inspired me, such as yourself, James.
Thank you.
You know, it makes me so humble now that I am alive. You know, thank you that I'm alive now instead of woe's me. And it really shifts your whole reality, your mindset, and your life.
I'm like you. The people that I have met has been so inspiring for me. I mean, I tell, if nothing else, they've reached me for their one day. You know, I've reached one person today, and but hopefully the podcast is pushing out more. But yeah, a lot of these people, that they have really inspired. Hey, before I go any further, I got to do this right here. Let me push this
Yep.
button here. You did say perseverance, so let me fist bump you. All right. So you did say perseverance. I give you
I
a fist
like
bump.
that.
So yeah, but you're right. We do. Here's the sad thing is we do the old pitiful me. And
Oh
I
yeah.
was like you when I first got hurt. Didn't want to be a burden to people and things like that, to my family especially. But poor pitiful me. But then I keep having to replay in my mind. I was driving to work one day and I missed what happened, but I got the idea. Apparently, a car had hit this a dog, and you could tell he was paralyzed in the back where he got hit. And here he is, blood dropping, dripping out of his mouth, and he's pulling himself with his two paws in the front, pulling himself off the road, not to get hit by a car again. And here we are, here I am, get paralyzed, and then poor pitiful me, nothing to do anymore. Oh, I can't believe it. What am I going to do in life and everything? Oh, that ain't going to happen. But then here's this dog wants to get off the road to live another day, you know, and
Powerful,
not,
isn't it?
it is powerful. It's amazing how much we can learn from animals, and
It is.
we're the higher order here, but we can learn from the simple animals.
Yes, I really enjoy that. When when I got injured, and the good thing about it is it gave me the ability to heal. And I didn't realize that I was broken. I just felt that I was hurt and I was
Hmm.
displaced, but I was really broken, and I really didn't have the time in my life to identify what was broken inside of me. I was
Yeah,
rushing about, going here, there, getting my daily done, and I did not take the critical time to think about my wife, my life, my home, what is really special to me. And this can change your life if you slow down and take 5 minutes and have a conversation with your wife or your partner or a friend. Just slow down. I notice that we are at a pace now in our world that it's hard to keep up, and everybody wants to go faster and give more. And we're giving so much that how much is being taken in. And this is why it's so important to focus your mind long enough to have a long conversation like we're having and be able to listen. And like you said at the start, grab that nugget that will inspire you. And this is what I've found is the enriching part of ourself. If we break it down and get inside of us, what are we? Who are we? Why are we here? And why do we want to live? That's a big question, and nobody really seems to want to dig in and ask the hard questions to ourselves.
that's it. And one big problem I've noticed is that me being a man was brought up to keep everything inside. We weren't brought up to, to shit women. They're crying at every drop of hat you can get, but they're opening up, discussing things that we wouldn't discuss as men. And so, like you, I wanted out of this world before, and and I've talked about it a little bit on my podcast. I've attempted suicide 3 times in 3 days. That's how bad I wanted out. And after finally learning to release things and opening up for the first time on things has saved my life. And so
Yeah, learning to let go of your own misery, it's a lesson in itself. And the bottom of the barrel is only the beginning. When you hit basement bottom beyond the barrel, that's when we can really learn something. And you trying suicide 3 times, and that's crazy. But you know that's where a lot of people find themselves because they don't know what they're going to do, how they're going to shift it. And this world makes it so scary for us because it's so complicated. The
Yeah.
complexity of our world, it just takes us to a place where we shouldn't really be. And if we can learn to lean in on those moments of hurt and despair and learn something from them, and then, as you said, pass it on so other people can learn from this. How did you get through this and why? The why is because we really truly want to live. How is every day a baby step? Try
Yes.
something new,
Hmm.
try something different, and keep the things that work and just block the things that don't. When we start sorting our life like that, and this is people, places, and things too. I have a little thing I spill out, the muddy shoe life. Life is like a muddy shoe, and the muddy shoe has to walk through a muddy trail. And that trail is the people, places, and things in our life. And if you've ever walked down a muddy trail, you understand that mud can get heavy on your shoes.
Hmm.
A life lesson is learn to wipe the heavy mud off because there's varying degrees of mud in our life with those people, places, and things.
Hmm.
You get that really thin, liquidy mud, it's seeping into your leather and every crack of your shoe, and it's going to stay with you forever. And then as you go up, you get to the clay mud that thick, sticky to you, and it doesn't want to go. You have to wipe it off. And you've got to find a rock. And what that rock is actually setting boundaries and holding to those boundaries. And those rocks are great. So if we can transition to the end of the trail without a bunch of heavy mud, we are so much more happy and clean and free to be not tired, and we can enjoy life a little more. So I suggest that people take time and inspect themselves, really dig deep. Who are you hanging around? What type of people are they? Are they good people or bad people? That's what the world offers, good or bad.
Hmm.
And you get to choose. So if you're choosing, that's what people are going to see. So I hope people are choosing right and really sort through the people, places, and things, categorize the level of mud they are. Are they thin, liquidy mud, or are they just thick and heavy? And who knows? The rain might come, wash them, and make them into a thinner, liquidy mud, and they can come down the trail on somebody else's shoe. So I like to share that with people.
I like that. Where the sun can heat it up and they can be plastered on you forever and weighing you down.
That's right.
Hey,
Amen.
I like the metaphor you're using with the mud. I kind of did something similar to that. So I say we have to walk through fertilizers sometime to be able
Yeah,
to smell the rose. So
that's
yeah,
right.
so at least you use mud. So I guess you're better appropriate than I am. So all right.
Well, that
I mean that's
that
well
really
said.
depends.
I hear you. I hear you. No, it's well said with the metaphor. If anybody's walked through mud, you get way down, you get it stuck to you, and some
Yes.
of the mud's going to be in the creek crevices. You'll never really get out. But there's others you can take your stone and wedge it off, scrape it off, and yeah. And then again, depends on what type of mud you want hanging around you, the good or the bad. And we learn either way. We either learn with the good or we're
Right.
going to learn with the bad. And when you learn from the bad, Not to say they were the worst thing in the world for you, but it teaches you what not to do and how to avoid it. At least avoid them anyway. So,
That's right. They have this thing called the crab in the bucket syndrome, and the people around you will try to keep you in the bucket, even to the point that they don't care about your life, just to keep you where they are. And the mentality of that, you really have to think about, and you can look that up online. It's a well-known thing, crab in the bucket syndrome, but I believe that 100%. And really, the trick to getting out of that bucket without harm is becoming the king crab and saying, no, you're not going to do this to me, and just climb your way out. So don't worry about what's in the bucket. Aspire to be anything you want to be outside of the bucket. And that's really a way to look at life.
yeah. I learned a long time ago, and just a little jump off the thing here, that uh, don't complain anymore because no one wants to listen to it. But they sure want you to listen to them, though. You know,
That
don't go to them if you need help. But they are sure they're taking it from you, though. And so yeah, I've learned that. So
that is so correct. And if we actually can try to make a plan for our life, it really helps us coordinate and see what efforts we have taken and what we're lacking. We're slacking off. And really, just write down what you think you want to do in life and go experience it, because life is so short.
hmm
And there's always an excuse: money, time,
oh yeah,
there's always an excuse. But when you indulge yourself in that and you plan for it, you're going to be a different person. You're going to be whole, and you're going to feel more complete because you did what you want to do, not what you think somebody wants you to do. And so many people, they click up in these cliques and they want to mimic each other
oh
instead
boy,
of
yes,
just being themselves. And that difference in our world, it is so beautiful to be different and
mm,
stand out in your own way, not following somebody else's footprints. Walk to the side, watch them, and learn from them, but make your own footprints
yeah.
and live by that.
I tell you, went to I didn't go graduate high school. They had a 5 year reunion. I don't know why 5 years, but they had it. But that I'd had my injury, and I just didn't care to see anybody from high school. So they had a 10 year reunion. I didn't go to that one. So they decided to have a 20. And I thought, hey, I'm ready. I can go do the 20 because now I've graduated school. I was a teacher and a coach so I'm to go, flaunt what I've done now, because it could have been easy me just laying in bed, done nothing. Get to that 20-year reunion, you mentioned it a minute ago, the cliques were still going. There's certain groups that were hanging out in high school over here, another group over here, another. And so I'm thinking, the hell, we're 20 years
Yeah,
older. We ought to all be what you've been doing for 20 years. And so I tried to go to
yeah,
group to group to group, and they wouldn't say much to me because I wasn't in that clique. So when they had the
yeah.
40 year, I said, that's okay. I'm not in your clique, so I'm not going to mess with it.
Yeah. Well, people find me offensive because I'm so straightforward, but that's really how I want to live my life. So there's no misunderstandings. And when there's no misunderstandings in your life, that's clear communication. And really that's what we're lacking in the world is communication value. You know, it's easy to speak our mind, but the real nugget in communication is the ability to listen to others.
Yes.
And the best part of that is if you can indulge yourself into listening to those that you do not agree with, and without your own bias being interjected to the conversation, this is when you actually grow and you
Hmm.
become better because you understand the world around you, and it teaches you how to be more empathetic. And that's another thing that we lack in our world right now is empathy, and even understanding what empathy is. It's not a form of sympathy. It's really much more complex than that. And people need to dive deeper into how to communicate with others, dedicate some time to learn to have a conversation. I know when I started podcasting, I didn't know how to talk at all. It was just what's next, and I couldn't have a free flowing conversation because I wasn't being authentic.
Hmm.
And once I found it's okay to be who you are and just let it go, man, you can have so much fun in this world. It's great.
Well, and like you said, I've had two or three on that I really didn't agree with they're doing, but I wanted to listen, try to learn a little bit, and not that I had to get in a shouting match with them. You know, that's you, not me. I respect you, respect me, and have at it. Today, all this stuff on the phone, texting, everything, they don't know how to communicate, like you said. And first thing they
Yeah.
want to do is just explode on everybody via texting and whatever else, not face to face and having a conversation. So, yeah, I'm glad I'm old enough that I still know how to go back that far. So,
Yeah, I really I miss the old days where, the living room was full of people sitting around, just chatter, chatter, chatter. The only phone was on the wall. And
exactly.
unless you had one of those super long cords, it wasn't mobile at all.
Yeah,
So generally, you were isolated to an area and everybody in the room didn't have to listen to your conversation. you know
you
so
you might have
times have
a
changed.
3 foot line, cord, to that phone,
Yeah.
get it from the table or the wall to your ear. That's it. None of this going to other rooms and yeah, none of that. So yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, stretch that thing as far as it'll go too.
so, oh man. All right, then let me ask you this question. You had mentioned earlier, broke your back, your leg, and mentioned something else went on. But before all that, I mean, you're positive. You're giving all this insight. You're throwing out some great nuggets for people. Okay, have you always been like that, or did you learn to change? Did you go through a part of the poor pitiful me party and then decide I better get back out of it? So just wondering.
Oh yeah. I was always going in my younger life. I was always searching and running and going. M- You know, life was fast. So there wasn't a lot of association. It was more connect and go, connect and go. So I really wasn't into people, because there was always this feeling of tension. I was the outcast. I was the black sheep of the family. I was the black sheep of the school. So I kind of went my own way. I became an autodidact, and, you know, learning is a lifelong thing for me. So I had to dedicate my time to understanding people are part of life. So understanding people, it takes work. And I didn't have the dedication like I did after my accident
Hmm.
because, like I said earlier, I had time to process my life. And once I was able to see why I was running, it really helped me dive deeper into the really bad things in my life. And my wife became more important to me instead
Hmm.
of my friends. I started seeing her dedication and love was something I never experienced before. So I was able to put some understanding to my life. And that
Hmm.
was very important because I never realized my wife, Teresa, eh, she's a very beautiful, caring, and giving person, but I was taking advantage of her for many, many, many
Oh
years.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
I,
yeah.
I thank God that she is so strong that she stuck it out with me.
Hmm.
She left me, but not long. God put us back together, and that in itself is a miracle.
Oh yes.
Living in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I was the head shop person in a shop, and an old guy that would come around and pick up the old equipment came into the shop and said, "Hey, Ed, I was over here at so and so, and there was this guy saying, hey, the manager of Pearson's over here, his wife's living with me now, and blah, blah." And it's like, well, really?
Uh-huh.
What's the address? So, out of that big metropolitan area, there's no way I would have been able to find my wife to
Yeah.
be able to talk to her. But yet, here comes a little old guy and says, "Hey, Ed, you know, this," and I said, "Okay, shop's closed for the day." And I go and I make amends with my wife. And from there, it really started getting interesting because things started going like a snowball down a hill, and everything hit me like bam, bam, bam. My mother died. I broke my back. I lost my job. I ended up homeless with all of my belongings in this little tiny storage shed. I found myself outside of this storage shed looking up at God saying, "What in the are you doing
Uh-huh.
to me?" And I had my FU moment with
Mm.
God,
Uh-huh.
and he slapped me down some more and showed me, "Look, you're very arrogant. You've made a lot of money. You did this in your life, and but you didn't learn how to love." And it's
Wow,
like,
that's powerful. Yeah. Yeah.
I did not learn how to love. And yes, and that's what I try to do now is love my fellow man. And it's important to me. Every person is precious. Every person has a meaning, and the value in that is, priceless.
Yeah.
So, yeah, went
I'm
through a
I'm not
lot.
I'm too old to have all this um hatred stored up. I don't care. Whatever happened, I hope you have the best life possible, whoever it is. Whatever. Someone
Amen.
asked me one time, the guy that hit me and broke my neck, don't I feel remorseful to him? Nope. I hope he has the best life possible.
Yeah.
We were both, I don't know, we were both in college, very young, 19, 20 years old. I don't want him to spend the next 40, 50, 60 years going, I would have done things. No, live the best life possible. Hopefully you regret what you did, but
Yeah.
I would know. I don't, no, forget all. I'm too old for that. So to hang on to all that.
Yeah.
So, man, that's beautiful.
Being
As you're telling your story
19, 20.
about, yeah, as you're telling all the all this stuff going, like you said, snowball and everything. And then when you're questioning God, you said, giving the FU and going on and everything. And then I can hear God when he talks about, you've done everything, this and this, but you hadn't learned to love. And then I can see him going, all right, buckle up, buttercup. Now you're going to see the riches. You're going to see what I can do for you now that you have come
Yes.
to me. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's truly what's been happening. I've had things, I've given things in my life, but I never valued things in my life. And when I learned how to love and value things, respect things, and really understand things better, that's when life, I still don't have a lot of money because I gave all that up a long time ago. I don't aspire to be rich. As a matter of fact, when I was living in Salt Lake City, I was offered any property that was on the roll of the property management firm that I worked for. And myself, I was looking at this 5-story mansion on the Wasatch Front up on the, crest of the hill. And I called my wife, which was in Oregon, and I said, "Hey, I got a place to live. It's a 5-story mansion." And she said, "Well, who's cleaning it?" And
There you go.
instantly, it hit me like, oh man. So I had to shift down to something that was reasonable, She was
Yeah.
right. And I like it when somebody slaps clarity into me,
Yeah.
because we all can be puffed up and leavened and really want these big grandiose things, but the best things in life are the most simple things in life.
Yes. Yes.
And I'll tell you, when I'm setting out in my backyard here and I'm looking at the trees that I've planted, the berry bushes that I've planted, the grapevines that I've planted, and everything's blooming and coming in, and it's like there's no other feeling in the world that I have accomplishment. And I'm not rich, but I am super rich. And I'm so fortunate in many ways because I don't want the things that I used to want in my
Hmm.
life. It's a big change. It's a shift.
But it's so much, like you said, easier and simpler from there. Yeah, I'm like that. God, for whatever reason, won't let me grab $1 million because he's pretty sure I'm going to do it the wrong way. So, but I would like to think I would help people, but who knows? You get that kind of, and then all of a sudden you greed and you want more, and who knows? But I would like to think I would help people from there.
Yep.
I would think so. But as
You
you
know,
said, I could do
that
it wrong.
that's very interesting, James. I used to ask all the time for millions and millions, and now my mindset is give me what I need to do what I need to do.
That's right.
And I'm good with that.
Yeah, I'm too old
And
to want to sit around and count $100 bills all day long. So, and then wondering if someone stole some from me. So, all
yeah.
right. Hey, Ed, tell us, give the audience maybe 2 big advices you would get for them to be able to push forward in life when some hardship comes to them. What 2 advice advantages you can give to them?
The big one is remember the people that love you, those that are there for you through the hard times and not just through the good times. Remember those people and treasure those people. Those are the people, that thin mud that I talked about earlier. Those are the people you want around you. And secondly, I would say slow down. Life is not a marathon race, it's a marathon walk. And the slower you walk it, the more you can enjoy it.
There it is.
So slow down, enjoy your life. And I know when you're 16, 17, 20, you want to be the big grown up, get there so you can be in the bars and all. Spend some time enjoying what you have right now in your life, and always be conscious of tomorrow is tomorrow. Today is right now. Live for it.
Yep, live for today. Tomorrow, take care of
Yep.
yourself. So,
Yep.
all right. Well, Ed, I'm ready to move on from here, but I appreciate what you done. Hey, do you have, and again, we're talking with Ed Waters. If you go look him up, the Dead America award-winning podcast, be sure to check Ed Waters out. Again, Dead America podcast. And so, but I appreciate you taking the time to be here for us, and we can move on from here. So this is good. This is a good 35 minutes, 36, just hit 36. So from here. And you have
I
lightened me
like
up
it,
today.
James.
You've lightened me up there a little bit today. So
That's a good thing.
that is a good thing. So
That's what we need to do, James. Light people up, and remember, we are all in this together. So especially podcasters, they're your brothers and your sisters. Treat them like family. Respect them, honor them. Don't mock them, destroy them. Lift them up and make them feel wanted, needed, and special.
amen, brother. That's a good one. So I may take that as your positive quote right there to put at the beginning. Respect and enjoy your fellow podcasters. So,
amen.
All right, Ed. Hey,
you got James.
You're welcome. Thank you. You have any social media you want anybody to try to find you on, or you just want to keep that your podcast? However you want to do her.
Deadamerica.website. That is where you'll find everything about me, and we always welcome everybody there.
Deadamerica.
Website.
Okay. It's the first time I heard .website. So I know they got a bunch of new stuff out there nowadays. Everything's run out. So
it's a website. .website.
yeah. And I'll put it all in the show notes anyway. Help make it easier for people to find. All right, Ed.
Enjoy your day.
Tell the Mrs. Teresa I said hello, and I'm blessed to hear the story that how she stayed with you, and that's definitely a miracle in itself, right there.
Thank you for having us, James.
All right. Everybody else, be sure to share this out with someone else. I'm Dr. James Purdue, the professor of perseverance. Do something today, tomorrow, something next week that's going to help you persevere past your paralysis.